So, what if we've been thinking about how to live our lives completely wrong? In this explainer, we're going to dive into an idea from the Makma Sai blog that explores a totally different path, one that's way less about fighting against life and a lot more about, well, just flowing with it.
It's a really interesting question when you stop and think about it. An animal, it just lives, right? It breathes, it exists, and it goes through its cycle without all the anxiety and pressure we seem to pile on ourselves. But us, we spend our entire lives weaving these incredibly complex webs of meaning. And according to the source, that's exactly where our burden begins.
All right, so if we're the ones creating this burden, where is it actually coming from? Well, the first major source we're going to look at is what we can call the weight of expectation. It's this invisible force that shapes so much of our lives, often without us even realizing it's there. I mean, from the moment we're born, society kind of hands us a blueprint, doesn't it? It tells us what success is supposed to look like, what job we should want, how we're supposed to act. It sets out this path that can feel less like a choice and more like a set of instructions we have to follow. Then, on top of that, you've got our families. And look, they have the best intentions, but they often pass down their own expectations and sometimes their own unfulfilled dreams. Before we know it, we can end up carrying the weight of what they think is best for us instead of figuring it out for ourselves. And as if that wasn't enough, our communities, our friends, our colleagues, they all have their own standards too. We're constantly being measured against the people around us, and this endless competition can push us down paths that aren't really ours, all because we're just trying to fit in. So what happens when you mix all that pressure together? The source puts it just perfectly here. When you combine the demands of society, family, and your community, that feeling of personal freedom can seem so far away, almost like a dream you vaguely remember having, but you can't quite grasp it anymore. But what if there's another way? This is where we turn to the ancient philosopher Laozi. He proposed a completely different approach to life, what he called a path of wholeness. And it is a radical shift away from this world of division and judgment we were just talking about. And this comparison really gets to the heart of the idea. See, our default setting is usually this divided world. We're always putting labels on things. This is good, that's bad. This is right, that's wrong. The Tao, on the other hand, suggests a totally different view. It's about embracing everything, the good, the bad, the messy, as part of one giant whole. It's about seeing the beauty in all of it and living without that constant fear that comes from judging everything. So the big question is, how do you actually do this? How do you practice walking this path of wholeness? Well, the practical application, the how-to, is a concept known as wu-wei. Wu-wei basically translates to something like effortless action or non-action. And this is the core practice. It's all about recognizing the natural flow of things, the current of life, and learning how to move with it instead of constantly trying to fight your way upstream. Now, it's really easy to get the wrong idea here. Wu-wei doesn't mean being lazy or just giving up. That's actually a form of resistance too. Instead, it's about smart, effective action, moving gently but with purpose. Think of it like this. It's the difference between trying to row a tiny boat against a hurricane versus raising a sail and using that same powerful wind to guide you where you want to go. The source material has this absolutely beautiful analogy that illustrates the whole idea: a tree. A tree doesn't fight the dirt it's planted in. It actually uses that very soil to grow strong. It pulls up nutrients, it sets down its roots, and it finds its anchor. In the exact same way, Wu-wei suggests that we can learn to draw strength from our circumstances, yeah, even the really difficult ones, instead of wasting all our energy struggling against them. And all of this, the weight of expectation, the path of wholeness, and the art of Wu-wei, it all builds up to one final, really profound shift in perspective. It ties everything together into one powerful idea. This right here is the heart of it all. It's about moving away from seeing your life as some problem you have to solve or a battle you have to win. Instead, it's about becoming a channel for life itself. It's about surrender, not in a way that means defeat, but in a way that means grace. It's about letting life's rhythm flow through you and finding your truest freedom in that process. So we'll leave you with this to think about. Just take a look at your own life, your job, your relationships, your personal goals. Is there a place where you're pushing and pushing against a locked door? A place where you could maybe just stop struggling for a minute and instead see if you can find a way to flow with the current?